Soldering on a bar. Soldering on a reinforcing bar. Now, I've already taken and tinned the spots where I'm going to be soldering to the window. And I made this little thing, slots, to kind of help hold it steady. I've got the square here because I want it to be kind of square. Alright. Kind of square. Where it's being attached to the window. Okay. So, I'm using a kind of a dry brush here. Almost a dry flux brush. Okay. And one of the things you want to do, and the reason that I tinned the bar before I put it on here, or go to solder it on here, so you have some solder on the bar, because you heat the bar, not the solder that you're soldering to, because you want, it's going to take a lot more heat to melt the solder on the bar, okay, than it is the solder that you're soldering to on the window. It's very easy for you to vaporize the lead, the lead and the solder on the window you're soldering to, okay, if you get it too hot. Very, very easy to do that. Then you don't have anything to solder to because you vaporized it. Okay? So I got started. Alright. This is really kind of square here. And kind of square here. Alright. So, I'll try this again right here. Okay. So, now let's move this up a little bit. I could do that. Now, okay. I can go back and correct that in a minute. Okay. So, it's very easy. Now, I had a client years ago. They had bought an old window somewhere, and they didn't like the bar on it. It was set in a door, and they didn't like the bar on it, so they took a pair of pliers and they twisted it back and forth, and they got it off. They bent it off of there. Okay. But when they did that, it ripped the face off of the lid. Then, lo and behold, opening and closing the door, the window started to act like a drum head, right? And eventually, every time they opened and closed the door, the window would move forward or backward a little bit. So they brought it in because they wanted the bar put back on. Well, I had to explain to them that I had to re-lead the whole window because there wasn't nothing left to solder to, because they had tore it off when they took the bar off. Very easy to do. So that's one of the reasons why when you're soldering a bar on your window, you heat the bar up. It already has solder on it so that the solder can flow down onto the window instead of heating it up so much so that there's nothing left to solder to because you've melted it to death. So, okay. And I did tin both sides of the bar. So I'm heating the bar. Okay. You can see that, hopefully that's in frame. I'm heating the bar and the solder runs down. And theoretically, you want your bar to sink into the solder that's there already. So it's not a big honking nasty glob of solder. The bar that I took off of here, up top, had that problem. It looked like they tried to solder the bar onto the window at the same time, all at once. Am I in frame? Yeah, kinda. We'll go back and do this part down here. Okay. So, and that's something you really got to watch when you're soldering a bar onto a window, because it's very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. And I've already, like I said, I've already tinned that, so I'm not using muriatic acid on the bar. I'm just using regular flux. And, you know, that's another reason to tin the bar before you apply it to the window. I know a lot of people like to carry, you know, you can pick up solder with your tip, right? You can pick up solder with your tip and carry it over to where you're soldering, but when you're doing that with a bar, it's very, very easy. So when you're doing that with a bar, you know, and you don't realize that this can happen, that's that you're carrying the solder over to where you're going to solder to the window, and you got a big honking ball on your tip, right? And then it drips off the tip, it's superheated, lands on the window, and then you got a heat crack. Well, what do you do about that? Huh? Well, a lot of us don't think that far ahead. Alright? A lot of us just don't think that far ahead. And, oh, damn, I got a heat crack. Now what? Yeah, exactly. Now what? So, that's why I have tinned the bar where it's going to be soldered to the window. That's just a little jackism, I guess you could say. Maybe. I'm going to try to get a... I'll go back and smooth that out a little bit too. But this thing puts out... This is my atomic iron. And I want atomic heat. This is what I use. Okay. And, you know, yes, it's got a patina right here, but that's a muriatic acid because I'm using zinc. Okay. So this is a flux that I make for zinc. Alright. And metal solder through patina. Okay. When you tin both sides of the bar before you solder it on, you heat one side, it's going to soak down and get the rest of get the back side also. So you're going to have to put a little bit here and here, right? And so it soaks on both sides. And that's what I'm doing. So, that's why I do that. Because, like I said, it's very easy to vaporize your lead when you're soldering a bar onto a window. Okay? It's good on this side. This one gets it again. Alright? And that's the name of that tune. That's why I do that. Okay. Safety. So after you spend all that work to get something put together and then trying to be in a hurry to solder something to it and vaporize what you're trying to solder to, then you have nothing to solder to. So that's how you solder a bar onto a lead cane window. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.